welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the delay here, as again we were disconnected from the previous series. We can talk about that, I guess, later on. As we have our next series, we have our TvZ, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Equilibrium, we have the Chinese Terran player. Oh, the reigning world champion, the red Terran representing DRG Gaming. It is Oliveira. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. He's currently teamlessly just 2-0'd his previous opponent. It is DRG. And, oh, I would love to sink my teeth into this series, and hopefully we can stay connected again. We did disconnect BattleNet-wise to the Korean server earlier, and this is looking shaky as well. I don't know if you can see the frame drops. Oh, sorry, I don't know if you can see the stuttering. Yeah, there it is. There's some stuttering going on like every couple of seconds, and I'm pretty sure that if it happens too often, then I will time out. This is something that was happening earlier in the year to a lot of the European casters, like Wardy, Harstem, Rotterdam. Like they would all like disconnect at the same time, like in the middle of tournaments and in the middle of casts, and it was just an issue that it took a while to be resolved. I think it took like 2 weeks. I think it took 2 weeks for it to be patched. We didn't get affected, so I assume it had to do with routing from like Europe to the Korean server. But now I guess from Australia to Korea, it's possible that that there's something going on there. Because specifically this week, it happened during ESL Asia, and now it's happening here during KSL, where my connection is very shaky to the Korean server. It's fine everywhere else. It's fine to OBS, it's fine to America, it's fine to Europe. So yeah, a little bit concerning. I did actually just message Sinistro about it. We'll see if anything can be done. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. If we do disconnect from this series, and I'm a little bit concerned that we will, but if we do disconnect from this series, we will raid one of the other casters. Whether it's Chicken Man or Dave Tesla, we'll give them a raid, and we'll have a catch-up stream later on in the week. We'll do a replay cast. We'll do a replay cast of KSL and a replay cast of ESL Asia as well. Yeah, it's we'll make do. We will make do. Meanwhile, behind this, we're getting into our 3cc setup. Oliveira is going for standard opener, 3cc before starport, economic opener. We missed out on it last game, but Oriana did go for his 3cc 2-1-1. We don't know how it ended, we just know that it did end. And hopefully we're able to get to the end of this series with everything looking good and looking normal. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. As for now, likewise, DRG is getting into his hatch gas pool, getting into a standard opener himself, joining on up, working towards his third base. And getting ready here for the mid game. Really, my eyes on Oliveira to see kind of how he follows this up as well. Interesting, we don't have an add-on swap. There is no tech lab here on this rack, so it looks like we're going to be going Viking first. Interesting choice. Now with this Viking first, we're going to be shutting down these overlords. We're going to be keeping DRG in the dark as to what comes next, and what will come next is the question. You know, this should be leading to Liberators. This could always tease BC production. This shouldn't be Battlecruiser. At this point, a Fusion Core would already be on the way, but regardless, Oliveira is going to be keeping DRG in the dark. Aliens are going to be dipping on forward. And again, my ping to Korea is fine. It's just smooch. As Overlord is going to be shut down here across. I'm even going to be supply blocking DRG for a moment. Here comes Oliveira. Meanwhile, behind this, it is going to be just Hellion into Lib. Of course, this is something that should be in the back of DRG's mind. That Liberator production is definitely the potential for it is there. As the Hellions, they just bypass the Queens. They go straight for the middle line. We just go for the dive. We bust into the natural base. Drones are going to get roasted. Lings are going to try and come in to reinforce, but there aren't too many Lings at all. That's going to be 9 dead workers here at the National. Oh, the transfer! Not like this. The drones, they walk into their deaths, and we get a couple more. Getting up to 12 worker kills before the Hellions finally get cleaned up, and that's a pretty good amount of damage. On the one hand, we did throw away all these Hellions, but they do lose value over time. We do want to get rid of them here in the early game, and trading all those Hellions for 12 workers is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good trade here for Oliveira. Meanwhile, the Liberator is still up and running. Going to be going across the map, and Oliveira can now take his third base, getting into the rest of his bio production as well. We have Marines on the way. We have our 3-1-1 setup, soon to be 5-1-1 with 5 Raxes soon to come online. And DRG's got a lot of recovering to do. He's droning his heart out, getting into his 1-1, going for his delayed lair into a delayed Baleen nest, just focusing on upgrades instead. And the Liberators have been spotted. So DRG is going to be in position to stop them. So far he's aware. Does reposition his spores. Reposition his queens. So Oliveira, he is just setting up back at home. And yeah, just building himself up as well. Like after that initial Hellion aggression, like Oliveira, he's fine to just chill. Just fine to chill, build up his forces. He's gotten up to 16 Marines, and now we can go for the double job. Now we can be active once again. There was a bit of a lull period, and because of this, DRG has been able to spread his creep and re-drone quite nicely. I mean, I say re-drone quite nicely. Oliveira is ahead. He's still ahead economically. We have an even worker count plus mules. Oliveira, he's in a much better position right now. And DRG still has to come back. But now he's amassing Link Bane. Baneling's speed has not begun. This is a mistake. We have the money for it. Hopefully, there we go. Hopefully it starts up soon. And Baneling's speed does now begin. A little bit delayed, but on the way nonetheless. DRG is going to force Oliveira back. Meanwhile, we have Marines just going to be rallying here towards the south. Likewise, we have the split push on the way here. Liberator is going to go down to the Spore. At the same time, we have a double jump on the north. We have another push towards that goal base, but there are links in position. Baneling speed still not quite done. They're going to be waddling in. Up! Oh my god, it's going to be that much easier to deal with them. We do force some friendly fire, though. The Widowmine working against Oliveira, much better mine connection, but at the same time we get into another mineral line and DRG is being pulled apart. That's going to be 11 dead workers. Oof. 11 dead drones. We get the queen. We focus down some more of those Banelings as well, and we can just rain down even from the high ground as well. This double jump getting far too much done, getting 2 more Banelings towards the end and jumping back down to the low ground. We can just go jump back and forth over and over again, and DRG just cannot stop this. Just can't do anything about it. At the same time, we're going to be reinforcing the goal base, and DRG is just being pulled apart. He just can barely keep up. Thankfully, he does have some Link Bane in position. But we focus down the drones. And Oliveira snowballing out of control. He's up 40 supply. He's going to be reinforcing. Behind this, he's got his 4 CC on location. And we're just waiting for the rally to come across the map. Now, DRG can try to hold on here. He can get a miracle engagement, miracle connection. Oh my god. Not like this, though. As he takes a mine to the face. And Oliveira just keeps on pushing. Ay, ay, ay. And again, DRG may have been able to take down Beyond a couple of days ago, but here, alas, against Oliveira, he just cannot keep up. And as they try to hold out, decent connections actually from those Banelings. But the spread is still a little bit too good. Ooh. Mindshield's going to be going up again. We're getting on top of the Queens. We're breaking through the defensive line. At the same time, we have a big counterattack, but we have reinforcements back at home. We're going to delay the 5th CC, but that's the 5th base we're talking about. GG gets called. It's just too much. And Oliveira will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Oliveira does take the first game here in a pretty commanding fashion, to be honest. I mean, it all did begin with the Hellion run by. The Hellion dive into the natural base just got so much damage done and just kind of paved the way for Oliveira's follow-up drop play to just seal the deal and pull apart DRG. It was rough to begin with again, and basically from the moment that DRG lost that mineral line, when he lost all those workers, he was never able to recover economically. He was never able to get ahead economically compared to Oliveira. He was just behind from that moment and wasn't able to recover. GG. Now we're getting into game number 2. Hoping for a more back and forth, hoping to see a stronger early game. And that's what, it came down to that early game. And we're loading into a very different map. We're loading into Golden Aura. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the Chinese Terran player, the reigning world champion representing CranKy Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is Oliveira. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player, currently teamless but looking to fight back. It is DRG. Here we go. Oh, and for now, we're just going to be easing into this. Everything looking as it should be. There's no crazy proxies coming out, no SCVs moving out across the map. Likewise, we're not rushing into the gold base as the Zerg, which would be crazy in this matchup. Hatch gas pool. No early gases, no early spawning pool. Standard opener here from DRG. Likewise, standard opener from Oliveira as well. Golden Aura is a bit of a treat. We don't really get to cast too often on this map. It's not as heavily vetoed as Radiz's Station, but vetoed nonetheless. Oh, being okay. I'm being posed a solution to this issue, which maybe I'll try it for ESL Asia. I'm being asked about potentially using a VPN to try to solve my issues connecting to Korea. That could work. Even using Mudfish, actually. But I'm worried that if I use that my connection to OBS would be hindered. I'm gonna have to test it out. Maybe after this stream, I'll do some testing with Mudfish. Yeah. Okay. I'll do some testing with Mudfish, then I'll be doing like some testing with like NordVPN or something. For now though, Reaper is gonna be pushing out. Getting into that natural base, gonna be dancing with these lings. Actually, I think I can use Mudfish even without disconnecting from OBS, right? Yes, I think I can. Okay, I'll look into it after this series. For now, we're just getting into this. Behind this, it's going to be a third CC for Starport. We have that CC thrown down for Oliveira. There's that Starport on the way. So, fun fact, this is the same build, the same opener that Oliveira went for in the previous game. Went for the same build here. Meanwhile, DRG back at home, just trying to get into his own opener. Something that we have seen on Golden Aura in the weeks past, or I say in general, we have seen a lot of Zerg players try to go gasless. We can see that DRG did not opt to skip his gas geyser, so he's not pulling a Dark or a Serral. These players, they have been getting away with a lot of greed on Golden Aura in this matchup because you can defend with purely Queens. But DRG is not cutting any corners. He is going for his gas geysers on time. Getting his link speed. What I'm referring to is that a lot of the other Zerg players on this map, they've opted to delay their gases for a very long time and just defend with pure Queen, just because of the kind of how condensed these bases are, how close together they are. On top of that, because of the narrow choke points into the third base and into the natural, you can actually just rotate between these two positions quite easily, and you can afford delaying link speed for a long time, and you get into roaches instead. As we can see, that's not going to be the case here. Ooh, as Oliveira is going for something very different. It is still 3cc before starport, that's true, but this time we do have an add-on swap and we are going into Banshee production. So no libs this time, which I appreciate. If you remember last game, the Liberator actually didn't really do a lot. It distracted DRG, yes, but it didn't kill anything. It didn't really trade, it wasn't really worth it. So I do appreciate that Oliveira is going to be adjusting, and with Banshees, there's a lot more potential for damage. You can, of course, control them and micro them a little bit more effectively. You can try to pick off queens, you can pick off workers, you can even support your main army. And speaking of, Banshee is moving towards the third base. Hellion's going to be rotating over towards the natural. The goal here for one to distract the queens and for the other to deal damage. And I don't see a spore here at the third. Okay, now it's on the way. Spore crawlers are in production. They're now being thrown down. The Banshee has arrived. We're 3 seconds away from Cloak. And now Cloak is done. We dive into the mineral lines. Spore Crawler still a ways away, and drones are falling, and we can't do anything about it. It's going to be 5-6 dead workers, and we do barely escape as the Spore finishes. 7 dead workers for free for a bit of hull damage. Meanwhile, Hellions are still threatening a dive, but there's an Overlord that does see this, so DRG has kept his queens parked here in position, making sure that the Hellions do not get in. That's still 7 dead workers. Oh, the hell? One of them is going to go down. Behind this, I believe we do have, yep, a second Banshee. We're diving back in. The queens are being dragged here towards the right-hand side, which means we can come in and we can one-shot some drones. The queen! Oh my god. Clutch control there from Oliveira. Barely does keep the Banshees alive. Gets another 2 workers and does threaten the queen. He can even go for the gas geyser. Does force a cancel. As Banshees are going to be zoned away. Being forced back here for the time being, but again, he's already done a phenomenal amount of damage. Oliveira, he's now ahead economically, slightly behind in workers, but again, mules are a factor. 4 CCs on the way. Oliveira by no means is going for a 3-base all-in, and now he's going to be hitting the field with his Marines. Now, what's really important here is that Oliveira didn't throw away his Hellions. They may not have killed any workers this game. It was really the Banshees doing everything, but the Hellions, they did a good job distracting the queens, and they were kept alive. And now they're being topped up, and they can be, you know, added to the main army as Hellbats in that second push, in the tank push, I should say. Meanwhile, we're now hitting the field with that double drop, clearing up creep, slowing down the presence here of DRG, cleaning up whatever we can. And again, this is going to eventually lead towards that tank push. It should be upon us in a couple of seconds. And again, there are going to be Hellbats that protect said tanks. Here we go. Here is the move out. The creep is looking decent towards the left-hand side. I'm curious if Oliveira tries to threaten some of these fresh bases here or push towards the right-hand side. And it looks like he is, yeah, pushing towards this side instead. He's got 2 tanks. He has those Hellbats, a good chunk of Marines. 1-1 is done. 2-2 still on the way, just now starting. Oh, but there we go. DRG does scout the army. Does spot it with his Ling. Immediately repositioning, he catches a tank. A bit of a miss rally there from Oliveira, throwing away a tank for free. Big pickoff. Big moment, and immediately DRG goes for a big counterattack, but we have reinforcements back at home. Oliveira, he is safe and sound, but DRG is coming back home for a surround. He is racing back home. They're coming in from behind, completely swallowing up this army. Marines are going to be saved. 1 tank does on siege in time. Oliveira able to save quite a bit there. Did kill 8 workers. Did kill 8 drones. Oh, sorry. Saving it. How bad. I saw something big in the medevac. I was like, did he save a tank? No. Okay. Save the Hellbats. is going to be threatening his opponent, but he shouldn't really find too much more damage. He gets a queen. Good target firing on the Banelings as well, as he will escape. Behind this, 4CC is up and running. Again, Oliveira, he has been able to take an economic lead at this point. 5th CC on the way. DRG still has some droning to do as he's working towards his Hydra tech. Infestation bit just finished up for his Hive. Ooh, he does get one medevac. Good pick up. Meanwhile, Oliveira trying to go for a split push. DRG is in the midst of maxing out though. That is still a lot of creep to work through. And oh my god, we commit to the siege! DRG gonna be able to collapse all these tanks. Both of them will go down. And DRG is forcing this back. At the same time, Banshees are coming from behind. Oh, actually, no detection here, but Overseer has arrived. And we will clean up these Banshees at the same time. DRG going for a big counterattack, but he runs into a wall. He runs into a wall of Marines, a wall of tanks. DRG has to respect it. He has to back up. DRG is once again just going to be pivoting away from the right-hand side, pushing up that ramp. The mine! Ooh, the retargeting! Oh my god! Massive mine connection. A good position here for Oliveira as well, as DRG throws away so much Ling Bane trying to push up these ramps. A big overextension from Dongregu. He has to back off, he has to retreat. Hive is on the way. Lurker Den as well. And suddenly Oliveira gains momentum. He's going to be able to clean up all this creep. As soon as we get a scan. It's very dangerous that he set up here without that scan, as we do see DRG getting ready for a big surround. We do go for the scan, but here we go. DRG, he collapses once again. Mindshot's going to be going off, but DRG does force back Oliveira. Again, he was caught deep on creep. The scan took a little bit too long. A big Mindshot though. Oh my god, once again. Oliveira. He's barely holding on. He's getting himself on these Hydras. The tank will go down. But Oliveira, can he save this base? It looks like he barely can. And the spread was too good. Fortunate to have some of these tanks on the high ground as well. Oliveira will hold on to this position at least a little bit longer. But here come the reinforcements. DRG, he wants to break this position. The tanks are on siege. The SCVs, no! They come in. Oof. Even some friendly fire. So Oliveira's base is going to be delayed. 8 SCVs go down, but the tanks are getting in position. Pretty intense moment. DRG is backing off. The Hive is done. We have Vipers now on the way. Lurker Den has completed. No Lurkers yet, and going Lurkers against tanks is less than ideal. We're already working towards Liberators as well. Tech-wise, Oliveira, like, he's already where he needs to be. Tank Lib Ghost is what you want against Hydra Lurker Viper. He has a composition, and he has maxed out. Again, Oliveira, his macro is insane. Meanwhile, DRG trying to keep up here. Still working on his Hive upgrades. 3-3 is soon to kick in for our Terran. DRG still starting his own 3-3. We have tank lines, we have sensor towers, widow mines just spread out all around these bases. And Oliveira, he is turtling, yes, but only turtling until he maxes, and he's already at 200 supply. Waiting for some of those upgrades. Mine shots go off. No big connections though. Clean up a bit of the Ling Bane. But essentially with the army composition that Oliveira has, drop play isn't really going to be as viable as it once was, and we have to commit to some of these more dedicated pushes instead. Interesting. We're going to be leaving a tank line here back at home to defend, and we are moving out and trying to deal with some of this creep. But as Oliveira stabilizes, or as he kind of settles himself in, DRG is stabilizing, he's maxing out. taking up into a Spire Ultra Cavern. We are ending up in a split map scenario. Yeah, we'll see how this does go here as Oliveira slowly, methodically pushing on forward. Now, DRG, how many Vipers do we have? We have two. Two Vipers here for DRG, 0 Lurkers. But again, Lurkers aren't as necessary at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if we skip it entirely. Oh, as we do catch some of these Marines. Power bombs here on the Medivacs. Again, I apologize for some of the stuttering. I will try, for the next series, I'm going to try and use a VPN. Help deal with that. As the hatchery is going to be taking some hits here at the same time. Looks like a DRG finds a base. Yeah, with these Hydras in position, it looks like we're going to get a kill on the CC. Ling Bane rolling on forward. Mine shots being baited out. And the Buddha mines, they do nothing. We catch a tank. And we do collapse here on the Planetary. Planetary should barely go down. Planetary and 18 SCVs. That was 2 bases, by the way. One after the other. But DRG doing well. Finding damage. Finding some bases. Meanwhile, looks like Oliveira wanted to try to take control of the gold base. The gold isn't mining, even though DRG has every other base on the map. Hasn't been mining from these fringe bases, which I think is a bit of a misstep from DRG. It's very likely that these fringe bases will eventually fall under control of the Terran, or like pressure is going to be applied. So mining for them is going to be very important as early as possible. Do borrow some Lings. Ling run by finding some damage. We have borrowed Lings here in the mineral line. At the same time, Oliveira did get a kill on the gold. Here comes DRG. Does land in cloud. One of those tanks, 2 of those tanks even. And he gets the rest. Oh, that's going to be 4 tanks going down. Pushing into Liberators, though, is going to be a little bit too difficult. He does back off, does retreat. Gets another tank. DRG trading so well here. And that is reflected in the banks. DRG's got, I mean, again, bigger, or had a bigger mineral bank and gas bank as well. Gas is looking similar between the players. Ultras, they are expensive. As we can see, Oliveira finally establishing this base. This time not just expanding, but also repositioning his army. Now, he is being spread thin. Bear that in mind. He's being spread here between his north and his south. The Lings, they just dive in. They get a tank. They don't get much else. There's no answer for these libs. We needed those Vipers. Meanwhile, the Ghost armies towards the south. We go for a scan. DRG reveals full saturation. Another scan reveals a gold base still on the way. A bold drop with barely any HP, but it's being sent towards the gold. Here we go, DRG is going to be committing here towards the south, pushing him forward, catches a tank, and he is looking to collapse on this base once again. The Bailey's, they roll in, and the Planetary is going to go down. The Ghosts out of position. They come in just a little bit too late after the base falls. At the same time, we do deny the gold, which is nice, but Oliveira, he's down to 40 workers, barely has an economy. He barely has an economy, barely has a bank, and we're trying to cash this. No! The Ghosts, get out of here! The Ghosts aren't being caught out. We have detection. Oh. We snipe the Overseers. Half the Ghosts will survive, but this was still a big pick-off. We don't have detection. No! The Ultras, the Hydras. Oh my god. DRG overextending for a moment. But I mean, he still reset the tank down. He still killed Ghost nonetheless. How many ghosts was that? So he killed 7 ghosts in that engagement. 7 dead ghosts, 6 tanks. And DRG still has an economy. He can remax, rebuild, and do that again. Meanwhile, Oliveira, he's going to be stuck here on his 4 bases. Sorry, stuck on his 5 bases. Still has mining, still has saturation, but because of that big blow here to his army, he's... yeah, it's going to take him just far too long here to max out. Do we have any Vipers? Okay, we still have 2 Vipers. Still have 2 Vipers here from DRG. Pushing in towards the south once again. The army not quite in position. We catch a tank. We can get a second. Tanks are going to be going down. This is maybe an overextension for these Ultras as they do come across the ghosts. There we go. 1 Ultra does get sniped. But the Lings, they get into the mineral line, and we already had a low SCV count, and it's getting even lower. As we borrow some Lings here behind the mineral line. Thankfully, we did notice. We do go for the scan. DRG is just going to be backing off, repositioning. 1 Liberator is denying mining here towards the top right. A pretty big deal. No, the Fungals! Massive Fungal of the army. We do catch the ghosts. We need another. Only 1 Fungal was available, but the ghosts are getting chased away. Meanwhile, the tank count gets reset once again. Big snipes on the Overseers. We keep some of the ghosts alive at least. Oh my god. That was what? Another 8 dead ghosts. Not like this. Our base is getting up and running. We still have 1 Infestor left. Sharking around behind the army. Looking for another juicy Fungal as well. Ghost army has been spotted. Now, what's a little bit scary here is that even though DRG has been catching units here and there, Oliveira is getting another base, and DRG hasn't been mining from the top right. He just now started mining bottom left, but DRG doesn't have a bank. He does not have a bank anymore because of the delayed or denied mining here. This goal base is about to kick in, but if Oliveira can put a stop to this, then he's still in this game. Thinking about it. The Liberator does arrive. We are denying mining. DRG has maxed out. This is still anyone's game at this point, especially with Oliveira reestablishing this command center. You can see DRG looking for a dive. And here we go. Show us the blinding clouds. Do cover 2 of those tanks. Here come the Fungals. Oh, big connection once again on the ghosts. But only 1 Fungal. The ghosts, they slip away. They barely do slip away, but again, we do take everything else down. Down go the tanks, the Liberators. There is still detection. We pull all the way back to another tank. Oh god, we drag the Ultras all the way to tanks and Liberators. The ghosts, some of them do survive, but what about the base? The CC, can we repair? We do! Oh my god. The CC survives a little bit longer, but it's being chased down. And it looks like it will fall. And this was the main, by the way. I assume it was the main. There's another base here, but yeah. Oh my god. As that time, only 4 ghosts went down. I'm assuming 4. It was 3 here, and then 1 on the left. 1 due to friendly fire. That's why there's 1 dead ghost on the other side. So 4 dead ghosts. Once again, going for the scans, trying to get a read of what's going on. Oh, the scan! Oh, catches 2 Infestors. Big pickoffs here from Oliveira. Keeping 8 of his ghosts alive. Still trying to get a read on where the army is. Does come across it. That one Liberator still wreaking havoc, and it's forcing the Corruptors to rotate over towards the right-hand side. DRG is still committed here to Lingbane Ultra, which again is just really expensive and really, I would say a bit inefficient here, especially gas-wise. Like it's been some expensive trades here for DRG. He has been able to afford it, but it feels very much so on a knife's edge. And to be fair, all that DRG has been needing these fights is a second fungal, right? He uses the first to lock down the army, but he needs another. Another Infestor goes down. Like, he's been catching the ghosts, but he hasn't been able to finish them off. That's the problem here for DRG. And Oliveira's maxing out. He has a super maxed army. Because of his low SCV counts, his army is that much bigger. This is his third floated over, I believe, as well. Oh, sorry, his natural. His third was killed. We're just lifting up whatever we can. The natural, the third. We're bringing it all over. Here we go. Lingmanes will be rolling in big mine shots, though. Mine shots, the snipes as well, the ultras are all going down. GG gets called. Ay, 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 a disastrous fight. And Oliveira will take it 2-0. Will advance on to the semifinals. GG, ay, ay, ay. GG, well played. Oliveira just... Honestly, he was up against the wall. We saw him losing base after base after base. DRG was just all over him. DRG was just all over him. But eventually, Oliveira, he was able to trade efficiently enough. He was able to, more importantly, preserve his ghost. He was able to preserve his ghost and take that center base again. If he was contained, it'd be a different story, but he was able to continue mining, able to establish more bases, establish as many bases as he needed to max out, and yeah, he just had a more efficient army. I mean, that's kind of the way of this matchup here. The Zerg player needs a better economy to be able to trade with the Terran, but some of these fights just going a little bit too awry for DRG. GG, well played. And yeah, with that, congratulations, Oliveira does advance on. But a big shout out to DRG, because that wasn't a one-sided game. At times here, Dongray Gu was ahead, was winning. So did pose a threat here to Oliveira, and yeah, was a solid game nonetheless. Back and forth. Back and forth. Here we go. As we are going to be getting ready for those semifinals, and it looks like we have our next game. Quickly though, before we get there, I do want to try to mess with my mudfish a little bit. It's maybe a little bit dangerous to do this mid cast. But I do want to try to get this going. Beautiful. All right. So we're going to be going on a short break. Up next, we have our semifinals. It's going to be Oliveira versus Dark in the TvZ. See you soon.